Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Tonight I want to share a clip from a recent live event where Jim Morgan and I discuss two main things that are intertwined. One, the new rank reward system and actually a major problem with it. And two, possibly the exodus of all the bots. I think the two conversations come together because I think the rank reward system has pushed away bots, and that might be visible already in data, but then there is so many other kind of questions and concerns in this new rank reward system that we touch on in this video that I think need to be properly explored, understood, maybe measured, probably for the full duration of this season and maybe more, so that we can better understand what we need to change before we make major changes to this problematic and possibly broken new rank reward system. Let's talk about it in this video, and make sure you drop your comments below to help me understand what I'm struggling to understand. Like, how do we improve this system? Because I think it's close and there are ways we could tweak it. What are your thoughts on how we fix the rank reward system? Because I do think it needs fixing. Guys, thanks for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless. Hey, Alec, good to see you, dude. Good to see you again. He says, I remember in the two previous videos you were talking about the fact that you thought rentals would increase with these new reward changes. Do you feel they have not? Clearly they have significantly decreased. Does it seem silly to look back on the fact that we knew power level requirements were decreasing across the board and we knew there would be less bots? Okay, so it's a good question. But the new format, when you say the new format doesn't mean that there's less power requirements. The new leagues that we will eventually be getting, but we don't yet have, right? This is just one league. There's not like you can't do modern and wild right now, can you? Is there something I'm not aware of right now?
No, it's only wild right now.
Yeah, it's all just wild. I understand the point. The point is like the rental cards have gone down and you are wondering if that is, you want me to comment on that. That's a great question. But I just on the one point of where you're saying with these new reward changes. Yeah, okay, well, let me just try and speak to the issue of the bots and also of the power level. That's what you said. You said the fact that the power level requirements have changed, and they haven't changed yet. So that might be an impact on card rental prices when that happens. But the leagues are still what they used to be. Diamond is still 4,000. And champ is still 500 and gold is still 100 and so on and so forth. So, I mean, the cards are still just as necessary as they were in last season. So on that one point from the collection power standpoint. And then on the topic of bots, I mean, let's go have a peek at Peak Monsters and just let's go to more dashboard. So look at the battles. So hang on. This is June's. Let's look at June 1st. There was 3.9 million. 3.9 million battles. The 31st, 5.3 million battles. So it's been steadily declining. But hang on, when did the season start? The season was like here, I think, wasn't it? Somewhere here or here is when this season began. And so we've had a decline in games, but is that because of bots are not playing right now? Or is it because we're at the beginning of a season? Or is it because, I mean, it's so hard to tell, man. The sample size of data that we have to look at is yes, this is a bit low compared to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this would have been the previous, I guess, start of the season. And so, yeah, that's quite a bit lower, I guess. So maybe that is indicative of like bots just holding off. Well, why would... Here's the thing about bots not playing. Like, why would they not play? Even if they had... Like, wouldn't you still just let them run? I guess they wouldn't get anything, right? They don't get anything at all for playing with ghost cards?
Yeah, they don't get anything.
Okay.
Because even season reward chests are based upon the shares that you get,
Mhm.
and then you get the shares at for your daily chest. So if you don't get shares for your daily chest, you don't get anything for your season.
Mm. So that makes me think that this probably is a reduction due to bots stepping away or just being like put off to the side for now. But that's interesting because it almost gives us like a percentage to look at. So I actually don't know when the season started. Was it May 31st? Was it May 30th? It was one of these two, and that makes a difference. But if it was this day, that's 6.4 million, 6.5 almost million games played. And this over here, one of these was the previous season. So you're talking like 9.5. So that's like a 40 or a, yeah, it's about a 40% decline in number of games. Does that mean that 40% of the accounts that play the game are bots? Because a lot of people have speculated it's more than that. I've heard people say I've heard people say 200,000 bots out of the 400,000 accounts. So that's 50%. I don't know, but I mean, this is actually, to me, and I've also heard other people say that there might even be just like 10,000 real players. That doesn't jive with this. If we're concluding that the battles are down due to bots, then I think it's wrong to say that we have just 10,000 regular real human accounts. And I do think we've got something like, probably 50 to 60 or 50 to maybe even 70% of the accounts in the game would have to be alive, real humans that are playing the game, in order to justify this amount of plays, this amount of games, if the argument that bots aren't playing is real. Like, so it's an interesting, there are two topics. It's like how big are bots and how many accounts are they, and like what sort of problems does that, I guess, create? It's a separate question, but it ends up being attached to this other question of, okay, like let's admit that. Okay, what other data can we pull out of it? Because I do agree, like objectively, the number of games is way, way, way down, and it makes sense that's probably due to bots because of the no rewards. But yeah, I mean, if we're talking, we're still playing 5 million games a day, not 10. That means something like half of the accounts are still playing just like they would have. And that's a good thing, isn't it? I mean, it's indicating way more real world accounts, real world players, people who are invested, people who have cards or who are willing to rent them. That's good, I guess. So, but it is bad in the sense that we're playing so much less. I get the feeling, I also get the feeling, though, there's one variable we haven't touched on. I think to some extent we haven't played nearly as many games because there's been frustration around how the new rank reward system works and everything we already talked about. I've heard a ton of people complain about how it operates now. And to some extent, maybe that's part of this. I don't know. Is that 10% of the factor? Or is it 25% of what's going on? It's so hard to tell. Good question, though. Any thoughts there, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to know really with it's been 3 days. So, and on Peak Monsters, we only have like 2 days of data since the start of the season.
Mm-hmm. It's a great question, and we should keep watching it. But I actually, what I'm seeing is, or what I'm imagining is, people are not loving this new rank reward daily focus. I've had a number of people reach out to me and complain about how the daily focus takes away some of the joy of playing. And now we have to play an hour and a half of a day to get the 30 matches roughly that you're able to, I guess, potentially claim or benefit from. I don't know. I'm not convinced people are enjoying it at this moment. Plus, like I said, the rewards are substantially lower, not a little lower. I was getting 10 chests every day under diamond before, and now today I got 2. That's a huge difference. A huge loss. Forgotten One is so beast. It's rapidly becoming one of my favorite cards.
I did want to add, I think Aggro and Matt will be paying attention to like what's going on, and I think they'll change the league reset,
Hmm.
and I think they also need to add, something to where it's like, say you get a bonus for doing the specific element, right? So if you're doing Earth for the day, you can get like 50% more focus towards it.
Yes.
But then also just make it to where you get a flat amount, or 50% of if you play any color. As long as you get a win, you can still get some focus shares.
I like
But
that.
if you play the specific one, then you get more.
I like that idea, and I've heard other people say it too. And I
Mhm.
mean, it seems reasonable to me. Like is there some amazing advantage for them? No retaliates? Come on. Um, so frustrating that I didn't get a retaliate in the first round, and now I think I'm gonna die. That's a huge retaliation. And then I missed it. Are you kidding me? Okay, what was my thought? Are there any real advantages to doing a focus like this? Like, what is the 24 hours of um of just fire? That feels boring to me. I know the only reason I see that they did it, or that's justifies it, is that the complicated nature of the full revision to the economy and what they did there, and they wanted to kind of simplify what they were doing with the dailies, and they've already said they know that it's too simple. They know it's kind of boring. They want to fix it, but they said all this, and they I think in the very last town hall they talked about these things. So that's gonna come, but I mean, I hope they're hearing our criticism and frustration, because I do think most people think this is a step back, that I can only play fire in order. Otherwise, I don't get daily loot chests. And
Yeah.
when you put that like crap icing on top of the crap cake that is, moving from one league into a lower league, and you're getting so many fewer R shares, and the implications that has on how many chests you're getting anyways. So it's like, even if I'm allowed to play 30 games every day, that's what my ECR will allow. And if I played 30 games at Diamond 3 while trying to earn champion chests, that would not be enough to get more than, say, 3 or 4, I think. If I was excellent, if I was winning like lots of my game. Because the other day I played an hour and a half and I earned 2 chests, and that was, I had like a 55% win rate or something. So it was like a pretty good day. But I couldn't get enough R shares because the quality of the payouts at Diamond 3 is too low for the chests I'm trying to earn. So
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe the one thing they could change is, like, why do I have to earn diamond chests if champion chests if I'm in diamond? I know that was kind of a nice thing to do. In part, that was one of the things that was exciting. It's like, wow, you're going to earn champion chests, and champion chests are so much better than diamond chests, and you're going to want champion chests. And that was part of the sales pitch for the new rank reward system. And I do think that's cool because of all the multipliers and whatnot. But it actually is a punishment at the grind that I'm in. Like, you force me to come down to D3, and then you just kick me while I'm down by making me earn these chests I can't afford. So I feel like if I need to go down to D3, then I should just be receiving diamond chests, and I would be happier then, because I'm going to actually have a chance at like real meaningful numbers of chests. Don't you think, Jim?
Yeah. One thing I could see is, rather than them locking it in, maybe change it accordingly to where like you're currently at. But I don't know how that would work with going into, like, say you farmed out like 10 diamond chests, right?
Yeah.
And then you go into the next seat, or before the end of the season, you then go into champion. Would it then just screenshot that you have 10 diamond chests, or would it then be upgraded to champion?
That's a good
It'd
question.
have to screenshot it.
Yeah. Yeah. These are tricky stuff. I don't know the answer to it, but I just feel like I feel Alec has pointed out probably a true thing about bots and how they are playing less, and maybe that is why rental cards are lower. I didn't notice if rental cards were lower or not, so I'm taking his word of that. But also, I think we've seen a diminishment in play because this is a grind. You like to get like, look, I played. Let's see how many matches I played in the last hour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I played 7 matches and I've got 1 chest today. I mean, is that gonna like in? And I know that it was certainly possible for me to play 7 games under the old regime, and I've already claimed my daily chest, which would have had 10 in it. Um, I mean, in this at this moment at the beginning of the season, this really sucks. But I can see if they change the focus, that would be a nice improvement. If they change the chests you're able to access, so you're not trying to claim higher level chests you can't afford, maybe that would be good. Little things need to happen. I'm confident they can fix this, but things need to be changed here. Yeah, this is really like this is almost unbearable. But what I usually do is in the old days, like I don't usually grind really hard in the beginning of the season. I usually just wait until like 5 days in, and then I grind hard to get back into champ. Because in the middle of the season, I'm not fighting so many really talented players. But the problem is, if I do that, my season loot chests are going to be brutal. Like I've earned, in the last 3 days, I've earned 9 loot chests toward my season total. That's nothing, but if I don't grind every day, I'm going to end up with like 30 or 40 loot chests at the end of the season. That's, oof, man. Like it feels like to me, maybe it's just my strategy. Maybe I'm not very like effective at extracting maximum rewards yet with this new system. But it feels like to me, I'm going to get way less rewards. We'll see. I think there will be some that come back. Takes a few days for them to figure it out and update the software. Okay. So Kush actually thinks that the bots will navigate and come back into this from a business standpoint. Like I think the issue is like, it's not just what we talked about earlier. It's not just, so on the one hand, it's like some of the reward opportunities have changed and they've changed dramatically. And there are some new costs to bot owners to be involved and receive those rewards. And you might say, oh, that's enough. They're going to walk away. That doesn't make much sense. It's like they have a business. Their business is running a bot farm and they have X cost and they make Y profit. And if X is smaller than Y, then they're happy. And this new system may or may not be the case that, costs are less than profits. If profit is greater, they're going to be here. And I feel convinced that we aren't yet sure what profits are. Like you and I aren't even sure for our own system, for our own battle, for my own account, let alone how could we possibly know what it's like for thousands of bot farms. And then like we say, some of these new monsters, some of these new reward cards, maybe that's going to continue to bring down prices and make it and continue to change the dynamic around what does it even cost to operate a bot? What are the rental cards? As you pointed out earlier, Alec, like they've gone down, the costs. Does that mean that they're going to stay there? And if so, again, if the profit is there, they'll be here. And it's just that simple. And we don't. I don't think I don't think it's possible to know if the profit's there until at least the end of this season. Rentals at the beginning of the season since rewards. Since reward changes are now 1/5 of what they previously were, that is losing 100,000 players per day. So I guess you're saying 1/5 of what they used to because, I claim 2 chests versus regular 10. I don't think that's fair though, because it's like right now it's 1/5, but if the system works as intended, it's possible to get 30 loot chests in a day. So yeah, I mean, again, there's such a small amount of data to work with. I don't know that it's fair to kind of draw detailed and definitive conclusions yet. Yeah, even from the refocusing, like Bobby's talking about, like maybe the focus is an issue for the bots. I don't think so. You really would just be able to tell them, because the bots that I've seen, it's like you can tell them, frankly, if fire is available, play fire. If that's available, that's like a second choice. And I think you're even allowed to like say these are the monsters in what order, and you really like define all of it. And so, and then there are contexts where none of it is available, and that's why you see sometimes see bots like just give up essentially.
Yeah, or they'll post like one monster.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, like I really appreciate it too, dude. It's a great comment and a fun topic. I almost want to revisit the bots conversation and their profitability and, the number of games being played by the end of this season. If we see a tick up, maybe that whole conversation goes away. I don't know. I mean, I think the rental cards have more justification now than ever. But when we see that we're only able to claim 1 or 2 chests at the beginning of the season, I can see why the rental cards aren't being bought up at this very moment, and maybe mid-season. But if it's like 5 days in, I usually climb about 5 days into the season. Maybe players could say to themselves, well, I usually wait till like the last day of the season. But in this context, and they're not going to be able to earn a high number of season chests if they do that. So they are going to have to, if they want to rent cards to win, they're going to have to rent sooner than later. They can't wait till the last day. That strategy doesn't work anymore. And so I still think rental card prices probably increase across a longer period within the season, but it obviously hasn't happened because you're getting 1 loot chest right now, and people don't want to come in here and do what I'm doing. Win, loss, loss, win, loss, win, win. This winning half of your matches because you're fighting some of the best people in the league. Whereas if they just wait till half of the season's gone, they could come in and just cruise right through a much easier climb. That's probably a factor, I would think. But we should almost revisit it toward the end of this season and see what the data is showing us then.